Hey guys, it's Alexander, and I just wanted to talk about what games we would be playing at the LAN party and getting some information out and talking about what I like, what I don't like about them, and hearing your suggestions about them. But we're going to go ahead and start with what games we will probably consistently play, some of the games we've experimented with, and some of the games that I might want to slide in to the LAN parties at either the next one or the one after that or whatever. So let's start on the top of the list. Let's talk about Unreal Tournament 3. Now, this game was released in the 2000s and it's maybe 8 gigabytes. So it's kind of light and it's a really good game for the people who played it. They really like it, and I've had people say they do really like it because it's intuitive. It's a FPS, kind of similar to Halo. The modes are very simple. The graphics hold up very well despite the fact that it's definitely older. Some of the convenient thing about it is I have it on a CD disc, but the CD disc doesn't work so well. So what we've been doing is manually transferring the files from one computer to another, which is fine. It comes free to everyone. It's a fast download for people, and it's a really good game. Some things I don't like about it because it's a older game is it does have a few problems. So it does offer an actual LAN option. It's been really inconvenient about being able to show LAN games on their network browser, which is kind of a problem. And I kind of have to individually type in the IP address every single time, which is a little bit of a problem, but it's okay. I like the game. On to our next pick, Left 4 Dead 2. What I like about Left 4 Dead 2 is really the fact that it kind of has some great team elements, and it's intuitive for the survivors and humans. It's a zombie horde shooter, kind of like an FPS, but not like some other games we've been playing, where we'll play humans versus zombies. And for the humans, it's really easy for people to figure out what you're supposed to do. You're just supposed to go from one end to the other. And then for the zombies, once people see what the zombies do once or twice around, they'll kind of get what they got to do. So it's intuitive in that way. I think the game really holds up for it being years old. It's semi-light on the gigabytes. I think it might be even lighter than, or as light as Unreal Tournament 3. And yeah, the thing about it is we do kind of have to pay for it. The most we have to pay for it would be like $10 if we had it not on sale, but it's often on sale. It's at least $2, maybe $1 if it's a really good sale. But anyways, that was one of the games that I think a lot of people had some favorites in. They really like the cooperative elements. The game design is just really good, and the graphics hold up. They're still very modern by today's standard, and I really like it. On to our next game. Is Counter-Strike Source. So here's the thing about Counter-Strike Source. People might ask, hey, why don't we play Counter-Strike 2? Or maybe even Counter-Strike 1.6 or the original version. So here's the thing I like about Counter-Strike Source. Counter-Strike Source looks good for its age. This was an early 2000s game. This released like 2002. It's very light. It's only 4 gigabytes, so it downloads very fast. Again, it has the problem of Left 4 Dead 2 that we do have to buy it, an individual copy for everyone, which again would be at the most $10. On sale, it might be $2, maybe $1. I've seen it for $1 at times. Now, what do I like about Counter-Strike Source? The Counter-Strike series is probably the best FPS series out there. I mean, it is lightning in a bottle. So, what I really like about specifically Source is that even though it's old, it still looks good. It still looks semi-modern. Another thing I really like about Source is that it can run basically on anything, which, if you notice with a lot of PCs that we have around here, that they are crap. Let me put it that way. They're crap. I'm not making them to run the new Doom or run Helldivers 2. I'm making them to be able to run these early, late 2010 games that are just supposed to be fun for the day, you know? So I really like that it's easy to run Counter-Strike Source. Another thing about Counter-Strike Source is that setting up a dedicated server and customizing it for our needs is so easy. This dedicated server that I've been working on is great. I have map voting. I have a wide selection of map pools. I've been tweaking a whole bunch of things. I've allowed auto b-hop. I've basically handpicked and curated what I find to be fun about Counter-Strike, which is great, you know. So now we can play mini games, we can play regular old Counter-Strike. It has commands. So that's what I really like about Counter-Strike Source. And setting it up on LAN is very easy. On the very few times we haven't had the server seeable on the LAN server browser, we can just plug in the IP address and it's good. But for a good majority of the time, we don't even have to worry about that. So that's what I really like about Counter-Strike Source. And then the next up, it has been our favorite to finish the night off with. Ever since the first, it's Minecraft. Minecraft is kind of a universal experience. It's kind of cooperative sandbox. After playing against your friends for the whole day, it's kind of fun just to play a very relaxing game. And then the nice thing about Minecraft is I get to make mod packs for it, custom mod packs to customize an experience, or we can just play vanilla. Or we can play vanilla with a map. I have a few maps that I've selected out that I think would be very fun for LAN. So that's the great thing about Minecraft. The only downside to Minecraft is it's at least $30 a copy. I've had it on sale for $15, but that's still $15. But other than that, the LAN capabilities on Minecraft are just top notch. We haven't had too many problems with it. Minecraft is just such a universal and flexible experience, and guys really just have fun with it every single time we finish the night off with it. And it's kind of the relaxed game that really brings the night down and lets the party dwindle, So that's what I really like about it. It's just that price tag, and everybody needs to hold a copy. Now, there's one more thing I want to go on a tangent about Minecraft is for each LAN party so far, we've been running Java Edition, which only runs on PC. The problem is that not many people own a PC account for Minecraft. So I've considered that maybe to turn to Bedrock. Now, what I don't like about Bedrock, it's not as flexible as, say, Java Minecraft is. We can do mods, we can do maps, but with Bedrock, it's not that flexible, and we'd be stuck doing vanilla, and we'd be basically hyper-managed by Microsoft, which I do not like. The good thing about Bedrock is we would be able to cross-platform, so that aka we can have guys bring their consoles, and they can play Minecraft on their consoles with people who are on PCs, which is awesome, which is great. Then it would really increase the player count. But I just think that the experience of Minecraft is really, really nice with Java, that we can just flexi mold it into whatever experience we want with the multiple mod packs. I've tried goofy things, I've tried a little bit more serious survival, I've tried horror, and you know what? People have had good things to say about it, but I would be very open and receptive to trying Bedrock. Alright, so that is our consistent picks. What have we consistently picked for about every tournament, or every LAN party I want to have is going to have these picks probably in it. Now we'll talk about some of our experimental games that we've had maybe one or two times experience with. So the first one on us is an RTS, real-time strategy games, which is the Warhammer series. Now, the Warhammer series I thought was really okay to introduce people to RTS, real-time strategy, which is a very inaccessible genre because not everybody's into it. And it's not as commonly made nowadays. It's not a very common game type. Now, we tried it. Here's some things I liked about it. I thought it was very beginner accessible, considering the fact that resources weren't such a big thing, base building was such a big thing. It was just really one single building that had to be upgraded, then multiple squads that kept together. Now, the only thing that really took back from this was we only had about 2 copies of the game on 2 PCs, so we'd have to take 2 people and kind of exclude them from whatever else the other people were doing to play this game. And it got some mixed reactions. Sometimes the games were a little bit long. People weren't getting what they were supposed to be doing, which is okay, you know. So, I've had some mixed feelings and mixed reactions about the Warhammer Dawn of War series. And I don't think I'm ever going to have it to make a return, because simply we'd have to pay for more copies, which I don't really want to do since it's an older game. I don't really even play it that much myself. And yeah, I can get copies for sale, but it's just, no. So, the next experimental game that we've tried with is Lethal Company. So, Lethal Company is a shit ton of fun. I'm not going to say it's not. It's a cooperative experience. And it's just a really great game because we played it when it was the hot new game that came out. And that really got people excited to play it. People kind of got it. And people liked it. Now, here's something I didn't like about it, I suppose. It did have some problems being on a local area network, which kind of sucks. So what we had to do is we had to put it online, and we had to use it through friends, which put us on probably a exterior server. So it increased our ping artificially. So those connection problems I wasn't too happy with. Another thing is we had to pay for more copies. And another thing is that there was a 4-person max player, which is unfortunate. We are now working on our 7th computer that we can add to this whole LAN thing. So that would mean at least 3 people cannot play Lethal Company, which is unfortunate. And when we did play Lethal Company, we did have 4 computers that can play it, but then everybody else was kind of screwed. So that's when we had people playing Warhammer and whatnot, which is fine, but without some sort of mod, we can't artificially increase that player count. So Lethal Company is very much a game I would like to get back in rotation, but until, either more players can play it, those LAN options are made less frustrating, and, get more copies, it's not something that will probably see you return anytime soon. Alright, the next game we've experimented is Valorant. So Valorant is a very popular FPS game, very much in the same vein as Counter-Strike, taking a lot of ideas such as the buy system and whatnot from it. What I like about Valorant, I like that it's really good looking, it feels good to play, and it's fun to play. And I think a lot of people really got a lot of the systems real quick. What I don't like about Valorant is, it's very gigabyte intensive. It is a bigger game. And it becomes a little bit more complicated because it has the mobile problem where there's this many characters in the game, and if people don't unlock them or people don't know about them, then they're kind of confused of what they do. So that is in contrast to Counter-Strike, where the mechanics are very down to the ground. Everybody's working on a kind of even playing field. You got grenades, you got guns that are very similar, do the same things, have kind of similar stats. While in Valorant, not on top of that, you have individual player abilities and you have characters that, and if the account doesn't have it upgraded, then you can't play that character. You're gonna have to switch a computer or something. What I do like about Valorant is it is free. Free is great. I love free, and I think you do too. Another thing I don't like about Valorant is that we couldn't play LAN. We had to use an external server, one of Riot Games servers, to play. Which the point of LAN is to play on LAN servers so we can have a very low ping that is not affected by Wi-Fi. So that's one thing I did not like about Valorant, but it was very fun. Would I include it again? Maybe. But it would feel redundant within our already crowded game of list of FPS, which we have Unreal Tournament 3, which covers kind of this more open space, vehicles, a more fun and absurd game, where Counter-Strike is a much more tighter gameplay, grounded gameplay, which between those two extremes, I don't think Valorant could really fit in between them, and it would be super redundant to include it in the rotation. Another game I would like to talk about we experimented with was League of Legends, popular MOBA. Remember, it is free. It is by Valorant Games, so it is free, and the rule of free is very good. What I don't like about it, again, it is very gigabyte intensive, and it's a MOBA. Like RTS, it's kind of a harder genre for new people to get into. So we have some people who are very, very good at MOBAs, who have played MOBAs for a long time and really like them. But there have been people who don't play PC at all and have a hard time kind of getting a MOBA. And especially a big MOBA like League of Legends, where there's like 360 champions at this point. It's kind of a lot to take care of, a lot to remember. And people won't simply know the characters enough and won't know the mechanics well enough to get it within that hour or 2 hour period that we play these games in. So, look, I like League of Legends as enough as it is, but I would like to play it as a LAN game. I don't think it works as a LAN game because it doesn't give us a LAN option. We do have to go on an external server for that, Riot servers. But I like it. But unfortunately, I don't think it will see a return. Simply because it is so hard for people to kind of get into a MOBA. It kind of requires to kind of get people to already get the controls of a computer, how a MOBA works, what's their main objective, and whatnot. Same problem with RTS. But that is my thoughts on League of Legends. League of Legends is also a very heavy game in gigabytes. Last time I checked, it was maybe 40, I think. 32, 40, I don't know. But that's what I feel about League of Legends. Unfortunate, I know there's some people very passionate about it, but I don't think it's going to be making a return. Okay, and now we are on to our possibilities. Some games that have been possibilities or have been thought about or talked about. So I'll go ahead and throw some of these on the wall. Starting with Overwatch 2. Again, another free game. Blizzard Entertainment this time. I'm going to go quickly. I tried it for a little bit. Here's what I didn't like about it. A, it's free, but you got to level up your account to like level 10 to be able to play a custom game with your friends. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. So it does not work for a LAN at all. Because we can't start fresh accounts to play with friends. We have to grind those accounts first. Which I'm not doing. And again, it's got the mobile problems where there's characters with abilities and people don't know what those abilities are, and then they won't figure them out by the time that we're done with the game. So So that's just what I feel about Overwatch 2, and it's very gigabyte intensive. Again, a lot of it, I would like to play a lot of these space intensive games, but if we have too many of them, many people's computer can't fit them. And then it would take too long downloading, and then it would just take too much space, yada yada. It's not something I want to be stuck doing. So, would we ever see Overwatch 2? No. I'm going to say it no. Another game I want to talk about would be TF2. I have experimented with making a dedicated server for this. I would like to. LAN connections are possible with TF2. I think the classes are intuitive. Since it's only 9 of them, we could play stock weapons, which isn't too bad. But again, it's very gigabyte intensive. But I do like that it can run on a lot of computers, because Valve makes a lot of their games in order to work on a potato, basically. On a potato. So that's what I like about TF2. Will we ever see it? Maybe, maybe never. Again, when it gets up to those maybe 30 gigabyte games, I'm not really super into having people install them, because that might take a while to install, and if they don't have them installed there, they're not going to get them installed by the time we're done with the game. So that's just my feelings on TF2. I would like to, but I think it would have to be a soft no. Alright. And the next game we're going to be looking at is actually a series of games, which both have their ups and downs. It is the StarCraft series by Blizzard, and we'll be looking at StarCraft 1, StarCraft 2. So let's start with StarCraft 2, since it's the most recent release, and that was released about 2013, 2012. Again, it's a little bit gigabyte intensive, but what do we get for it? It's very modern graphics. It is an RTS. I really like this game. I'm going to be honest, I am a big StarCraft nerd, and I have a lot of bias towards it. But I think it is the best RTS game possible. Best RTS game in the genre. Quite simply. I like its graphics. It still looks very modern. It plays fluidly. I love how StarCraft plays. I don't know if it's so much intuitive as definitely as the FPS, because it is an RTS, which is a little bit harder for people to grasp and get a hold of. But I think the fact that there are 3 races, kind of with their own thing, and then there's a little bit of base building elements, which it's hard to say whether people will get it, people will not. I would like to experiment with the StarCraft series, seeing how people feel about it, and try it. But some things I don't like about StarCraft 2, again, it's a very big game. 2, we cannot play it on LAN. We gotta host it through Blizzard's official servers, which sucks. Oh well. And again, it's a little bit of a skill floor kind of thing, where it's kind of difficult for new players to get onto the boat. But I think it would be really fun. We can play 4v4s. I'm just really biased towards this game. I would love to see it in a rotation, but it probably won't be. Just not meant. But yeah, it's free, which is great. We love free. So the other game that we want to talk about is StarCraft 1, or StarCraft Brood War, which is the expansive set of StarCraft 1, which we actually have on a handy-dandy little flash drive. Now, the flash drive, it is maybe like a light 800 megabits. This thing is small. Now, this thing was made in 1998. That was the release date for StarCraft 1, and then Brood War was a little bit later, but it does have those old graphics. This is one of the games that I will say does not hold up to modern standards. Its art style is good, but it's very visually hard to recognize, especially that we're playing on the original StarCraft 1 Brood War. We're not playing on the remastered version, which has much more clear looks to it. Another thing about this game is not only is it the difficult RTS genre, which is very hard to get into, but the mechanics are just very difficult in general. And me, who has been playing StarCraft 2 since the birth of man, I cannot just get StarCraft 1. I'm not very good at it, but I think it'll be very fun to have people who are not really good at this game try and play against each other. Again, same thing with StarCraft 2. We can play 4v4s, 3v3s, play against bots if we want. But there is some very difficult, kind of infuriating things, but it's a very fun game. I still think it is a fun game. And it's very light. I think it's perfect for a LAN party. It even has LAN options built in, and it's never been too infuriating to get those LAN games started. So that's just what I like about StarCraft 1 Brood War. Go ahead and give me your personal thoughts on RTS and in general. And we'll go on to our next experimental game, or possibility game, which would be Terraria, the only game that I would consider to replace Minecraft. Now, Terraria is great. It matches Minecraft in a lot of the aspects that I like about Minecraft. It's cooperative, it is a survival experience, we can tune it to however we like. It has a very obvious progression system. It is sandboxy, it has bosses, we can even customize it to our liking with maps, we can customize it with mods, and it's very easy to do so. The LAN options are very good too, it allows us to do LAN. It's even cheaper than Minecraft. Would I personally replace it with Minecraft? I will take it into consideration if people say that they would like to. And that's just my thoughts about Terraria. I would consider it. I would really consider it as the end of the night finisher offer instead of Minecraft, but I think people need to chip in and say what they need to say for it. That's my thoughts about Terraria, basically. Not a lot, but I still think it's a very fun game. It's a great game. It's very obvious for beginners. It's even a little cheaper than Minecraft, and we can get it on sale more often. So that's my thoughts about it. Another game I'd like to look into is Dead by Daylight. Now, Dead by Daylight would only have 5 players, 4 being on one team, and 1 being the killer. I like this game, and I think it would be a cool game to include into the LAN party. It's intuitive. It kind of has an Overwatch problem, or some of those grindier game problems where characters have abilities. People have perks, so you don't know what they're doing. We'll just play without perks, per se, but still characters will have certain abilities, the killer specifically. But I still think it's very intuitive, and it would be great for people who don't really know the game, because they will get used to it very easily. I like Dead by Daylight. I know some people who like Dead by Daylight a lot. It's a little bit gigabyte intensive. It is gigabyte intensive, I'm not gonna lie to you. It's definitely a higher end game. It requires a lot beefier of a computer to run. It's $20 normally. Normally you can find it for like $8 or $7 on sale. And that's my thoughts about Dead by Daylight. We can probably try it. It doesn't have a LAN option. It does have play with friends options, which is okay. That's my thoughts about it. You can go ahead and say yours. And the last game I would probably want to experiment with is Buckshot Roulette. Roulette. I don't know. The great thing, the game just added a multiplayer option, which I would like to look into. I haven't been thought about it as much, but it's a possibility. Maybe you want to say, hey, I want to try this, because it's a very cheap game. It's very light. It is only 4 players, though. But it is a very light game. It is a very cheap game. And it would be something I would consider. And it's very... it can run on a potato of a PC. So that's what I would also consider. So just go ahead, tell me what's your thoughts and opinions about these games. I'm sorry this sounds like shit, but I'm just kind of like reading a list of the games I wanted to talk about. And yeah, just tell me your thoughts. Bye.